episode of Gracias Come Again. Today, it's going to be one of those episodes that's heartfelt, that's straight from the heart, and where it hits the heart. Because today we're sitting down with Katrina McGhee from the American Heart Association. She is the Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer for the company. Welcome, Katrina.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
You're also a best-selling author.
I am.
I saw that. A podcast host,
Mm-hmm.
a speaker,
Yes.
and a certified health and wellness coach.
Yes, girl, I got a lot of hats.
Oh, I love
I
this.
got 19 jobs.
I love this. I love this. You know what that means? That means that you're super knowledgeable and you know exactly how this is going to go.
Yeah, but it also means I'm like almost every other woman I know. We have and also lives.
Oh,
I'm
forget
a
about it.
teacher and also I write poetry. I'm a host and also I work in my community. We just juggle a lot of things.
We're no longer, just like one dimensional. When it comes, like, especially today in 2026, it's like, yeah, we're mothers. Yeah, we're wives. Yes, we're daughters. But then outside of the home, we're so many things. And with people like you, you're so many things that are purpose driven.
Yeah. I wanted a life where I was going to make a difference. And that's what I'm passionate about. I love working in women's health. I love minority health and children. And I'm very fortunate to have a life that allows me to speak and share things while also, diving deep into all my marketing stuff because that's my jam. And so it's a life that builds on top of each other, but I get to be all the things I love.
And I love that for you. And I love that for us because I love to see myself represented as a woman of color by women who are leading, from the heart.
Yeah.
Not just, this is what I got to do to make money. And, I bust balls and I don't play games. I don't want that. I want to feel connected to you.
Yeah.
I want to feel like, what? I work with the American Heart Association, but you know what? My connections there with Shelby, with Katrina, just feel so genuine and so real.
I'm so glad. We try very hard to create a familial culture because, we're talking about people's health and livelihood and overall well-being. And so, you can be acting crazy with folks and then also trying to help them live a healthy life. We are just really fortunate to have an opportunity to play a role in empowering people with their health. And that means something to us deeply.
And it feels good. It feels like family. And, the woman aspect of it is super important to me also because when it comes to heart health, I feel like a lot of our, black and brown households feel like only men need to check their heart or only men have heart attacks or only men have heart disease. Can we talk a little bit about how common it is for us women to suffer from heart disease?
Oh, of course. 1 in 3 women will be impacted over the course of their lifetime. And that is women from every background and more in different age groups. You see younger women having strokes. You see more and more women because of a obesity-driven culture impacted by blood pressure and diabetes and cholesterol at much younger ages, even our children. And so it's so important, like, to just be real with people and have candid conversations about family history, what you've been through. Stories are so powerful. And then to help each other get in the driver's seat of our own health.
It is because, for me, I'm a stroke survivor. If you've been listening to this episode and you don't know about it, and I knew nothing about strokes before it happened. Like, I found myself in the hospital Googling, when will I get better? How long is this going to take? And I felt so ignorant at the moment, but I'm like, you know what? Nobody spoke to me about this.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone who had a stroke. I didn't know anyone who had a heart attack. So I was just so unfamiliar. But now I make it a point to share.
Yes.
These are symptoms. This is what you should be looking out for. Hey, you're going to start new medication. Did you check, what the side effects are? How might this affect you? How are you checking your heart? Like, it's just so important for us to really tap in with those closest to us. We can't reach the entire world, obviously,
Right.
but you know what? You can reach your mom. You can reach your sister. You can reach your spouse.
We all have a sphere of influence. And I think if we talk candidly in families about family history, girl, there are so many secrets in our family, especially people of color. We just don't talk about what happened with grandma or why she was sick, or, even sometimes I meet moms who don't want to tell their kids they're sick. And I'm like, we have to share information, because sometimes it's related to genetics, sometimes it's related to lifestyle. And we want the next generation to be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to be people who encourage others to talk candidly about health, share information, be curious, ask their doctor informed questions. And we have all the tools we need right now to be able to do that.
When it comes to heart health, right? If someone is listening to this episode and they're going to be going to their doctor soon, like what are, two or three things that they can bring up in order to really be in tune with how their heart is doing present? Cuz the heart is inside. We don't know what's cooking in there.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things they can learn about is life's essential eight, and that is like a checklist that you want to go through with your doctor all the time. The basics are blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, but then weight management, diet, and not just diet, but diet in the season of life. Women in particular, because our hormones change over time, it's important to know how to eat in the right season. And so you want to ask your doctor, hey, I'm 45, I'm 57, I'm postmenopausal. What's a good diet for me to follow? Because I think that will help you to your best health. Am I getting the right exercise? We recommend 150 minutes of exercise every week, and that can be in 30-minute increments, or you know what? If you're busy, just take 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon. And then smoking, we got to figure out how to stop smoking.
Let's not smoke. Can
No,
we not
let's
smoke?
not smoke. Let's not smoke.
If I see somebody smoking, Christian, I'm like, who still smokes?
I know. But we are all trying to cope with the chronic stress in our lives. And so I say this with much empathy for people who are struggling with smoking, that there are different and better ways.
You see, I need you here.
Stress.
I need you here because I'm like, why are you smoking?
Oh, yeah. I mean, nobody wants to do things that are awful for themselves. I always come with that mindset. And so it's, how do I help you take the next best step for you?
Now, there is a lot of resources on the American Heart Association website. Like if someone is like completely lost about heart health or, how they can get better, what are spots that they can hit on the website?
Well, I mean, our website has information about all the things I listed, but one of the things that people overlook often is healthy sleep patterns. We have a lot about that on there because your sleep impacts your blood pressure, your weight, and it leads to chronic stress when you don't get enough sleep.
Can we talk about that? Because I feel like a lot of people I know are like, oh, I'm up all night. I'm on YouTube. I'm on my phone. Can we talk about how bad this is for your health?
Yes. It's so funny. We are a sleep deprived culture.
Yeah.
And it's because we don't have good sleep hygiene. Staying on your phone late at night is part of the reason you have insomnia. The light from your phone is literally keeping you awake. And so we have to release ourselves from the light pollution.
Just
in
turn
our
it
house.
off, right?
Yes. I mean, but not just your phone, but like if you keep lights on in your room, or if it's bright outside your house, you need blackened curtains, because all of that light is messing with your circadian rhythm, and you need 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. And trust me, I know that's a lot. That is a whole lot for most of us, but that is optimal sleep for an adult, not kids, but like us.
And it's the way that, you're going to regulate your body and, even your hormones. Like if everything is out of whack and your body is not functioning properly, something's going to break.
Yes, your body is always talking to you. Most of the time we are ignoring it. But, your body tells you when you need rest, when you're hungry, when you're thirsty. Most of us are also dehydrated. We don't drink enough water. But your body told you. You just ignored the signs. And so the more we're in tune with ourselves, and I say this especially to women whose symptoms are often overlooked, that are misdiagnosed, that are told it's just in your head, that you know your body. When you feel something and you're not getting the answer that you want, go to somebody else. Like, don't stop until you get an answer.
And I love that you say that because, a lot of the times, we're women of color and, we're afraid. We're like, you know what? They said it's not nothing. No, no, I mean, and we just take it. No, let's
Mhm.
not take it. If you feel like that provider is not meeting your needs and is
Mhm.
ignoring what you know are your symptoms, find somebody else.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny. I just put this video up on Instagram. I was talking about having gone to the doctor. I had some test results come back. The doctor said, "Hey, let me sit down and explain this to you
Hmm.
so we can make a decision."
Beautiful.
Girl, I was so happy because she said we can make a decision. And I think women should feel empowered. Everybody should feel empowered. When you are at the doctor, to participate in shared decision making. Don't take solutions that you're not going to do. If you're not going to take that medicine, ask for something else. If you know that you live in a neighborhood where you can't, walk an hour a day like they're telling you to, ask for another solution. Like we got to be partnered with our healthcare providers to really experience our best health.
It goes so far, like even with like, black maternal health and,
Oh, yes.
women of color, passing away, during childbirth because
Mhm.
medical providers are not listening.
Mhm.
It's a huge problem. It's a nationwide problem. And
Mhm.
the only way that we're going to really get involved and stop it is by speaking up and
Absolutely.
walking away when a provider doesn't feel appropriate.
And not just walking away, but escalating it.
Oh, that
Like,
too.
talk to the patient advocate at the hospital. And I always say, if you have a loved one in the
Hmm.
hospital, please somebody go with them. No one
Hmm.
should be at the hospital alone if they don't have to be, because they're trying to manage, their health and wellness issues. You have to be their advocate for them. You have to speak up. And sometimes we need to be caregivers at home too. So it's important that, you try to have somebody that can walk with you through health issues.
Now that you mentioned caregivers, American Heart Association is very big also on,
Mhm.
acknowledging and, just giving resources to caregivers also because,
Mhm.
it's not always about who's going through the health issue. It's also about their support system.
Yes, 100%. Caregiving is exhausting. It can be depressing. It can be frustrating. And yet, when you talk to caregivers, they will say it is the most rewarding thing I have ever done in my life. It is literally a privilege to take care of a person you love. But sometimes when you're doing that, you can lose yourself.
Very much
And so
so.
that's why we say to caregivers, we see you, we love you. Here are resources for you to help you manage stress, to help you get answers to the complicated questions about, how to get somebody a walker, how to get them signed up for Medicare or Medicaid, how to access other patient resources or financial groups, or how to just talk to somebody else who's going through the same thing you are. Because that is good medicine. When you
Oh,
meet people who are experiencing the same thing and y'all can help each other, that's like gold.
you as a caretaker, it's just like you're carrying on with your life, but then you're helping care for someone who's not in the best space mentally,
Mhm.
spiritually,
Mhm.
medically, emotionally.
Mhm.
It is a lot.
Hmm. These are our heroes, our angels, for sure, because it is a selfless act to love somebody
Hmm.
enough to take care of them in a meaningful way. And sometimes it goes on for a really long time. So, to the extent we can thank and love on our caregivers, I encourage all of us to do that because they help us heal and get to the next space.
It's like, when you're bedbound, who are you without your caregivers? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? They're the ones, every time you're thirsty, every time you need medicine, every time you're like, I got to go to a doctor. And,
Hmm.
that's one of my main things is always, acknowledging, the people that are there for us when we're not doing well.
That's right. That's right. It's so important. It's funny. Like in communities of color, we very much are familial and intergenerational, and
Hmm.
so you often grow up seeing mom and dad take care of your grandparents. I know I did. My grandmother took care of my great grandmother, and so it is a natural thing that is ingrained in us that I love. I mean, I love that about our community. I just say to them, and also take care of you too.
Please.
Because if you go down, then what happens? If you don't take care of yourself, you're missing the parts of life where you could be spending time with that person while also enjoying part of your life too.
It's important, it's important that we all take care of ourselves, and that we all, just know the symptoms and know the signs. Can we talk about fast? Can we
Yes.
talk about rápido?
Mhm.
Please, let's talk about it because, with stroke awareness, we always talk about how, you know, acting fast is key. It
Mhm.
can save your life.
That's right. Face drooping, arms, slurred speech, it's time to call 911. We have honestly started talking about be fast. So you also get the balance and the blurred vision in there, the eyes,
Hmm.
because, symptoms can be vast. So sometimes you don't have a person's face drooping right away in a stroke. You notice the balance. They have blurry vision and then the arm comes. And so the first time you see any of those things, call 911. Don't necessarily try to drive them yourself, because there are drugs on the ambulance that can help save a person from having severe debilitation from a stroke if they get it right away.
Can we talk about headaches? And please don't go to sleep with a headache. Please
Mhm.
don't say I've had a headache for 3 days. Please, I've heard this.
Yes.
I've heard people have strokes and they're like, well, I had a headache for 2 days. I'm like, what do you mean you had a headache for 2 days?
Yeah, I mean, we have normalized so many things. Unless you're a person who has been diagnosed with migraines, or you have a sinus infection or something, a headache is probably not normal
No,
for you.
it's not.
And you at least should check in with a healthcare
Please.
provider to say, hey, this is happening to me. Is this normal? Is this something you've been seeing? I tell people I don't worry about being a hypochondriac. I don't worry about bugging my doctor too much. I don't worry about going to the doctor too much. Listen, I'm going to show up and find out what's wrong. And I
Immediately.
encourage everybody else to do the same thing.
And, just be silent and listen to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I can feel things, feeling a little
Mm-hmm.
off. And you know what? I just sit there and I'm like, what's happening right
Mm-hmm.
now? Listen to your body. Your body is going to tell you when something is not right.
100%. And sometimes it's the little things, but if you notice the little thing being repeated over and over, then that's probably a big thing. So, you just have to be conscious all the time, and be intentional about reducing your stress, because a lot of people don't realize chronic stress leads to cardiovascular disease. And in our communities, we have a low hum of stress all the time. Okay, so we have to know how to manage our stress, and do things to de-escalate. Otherwise we stay in fight or flight mode all the time.
It's crazy you say that because it's like I remember being a child. Stop! You're gonna give yourself a heart attack. Stop! You're gonna give yourself a stroke. And it's people that were stressing out and
Mm-hmm.
being
Mm-hmm.
overly excited. And it's true.
Yeah.
That stress, it all leads us to heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
True.
100%. I mean,
Take it
it
easy.
increases your blood pressure. It throws your heart out of rhythm. And there's such simple things like box breathing. Some people go out for a walk. Like, walking is my thing.
Can we talk about walking and how it's easy and free and you
Yes.
can do it
A hundred
anywhere?
percent, 100, and it's so good for you. Like, it reduces, it releases happy hormones, and it lowers your blood pressure, and it reduces anxiety. And it's something about the relationship when you walk out in nature,
Hmm.
because nature does that too, that just is like the double effect. And so I always encourage people to have some sort of outside time each day, because it makes a difference in your overall well-being. You just feel better when you're moving.
And you just you breathe that air. After my stroke, when I was recovering, I moved down to Miami, to join some different type of recoveries and gyms that were promising a faster recovery,
Mm-hmm.
which eventually I learned that the body heals at its own pace.
Mm-hmm.
But I walked in parks. I got to know every park in Miami. But
I
I would be
love
walking
that.
and I'm like, oh my God, there's manatees right here. Oh, watch out for the iguanas. And, it just felt so good. It was just the ocean and, the fresh air. I remember one day I looked up and there was like 150 parrots inside of a tree. Like, you just never know what you're going to
Mm-hmm.
find, getting out there. And I'll tell you this much, Katrina, I was in the best shape of my life and I just felt good. And even though I had my limitations still, I would go places with able-bodied individuals and I'd be all the way in the front and they're like panting and I'm like, why are they at the bottom of the
Mm-hmm.
steps? That
Mm-hmm.
walking created such a level of health and the stamina and my cardiovascular system was just top tier.
Mm-hmm.
And I look good too.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you say that, because there's this misnomer that all skinny people are in shape, and that is so not true. That is not true. Not true, ladies. You can be skinny and out of shape,
100%.
and you can look overweight and be incredibly healthy. It all depends on your physical activity, your diet. All body types are different. And so I try to get women to say, listen, look at what your body looks like and be the best version of you. Stop looking over here at this tiny person who actually may be sicker than you. Yes, is there optimal weight? Sure. But as long as you are doing what you and your doctor think are the best plan for you, it's all good.
Now, heart. Let's talk about how can we, make sure our heart is properly functioning right now? Like, what can we tell our doctors to do? What kind of testing can we get done just to sleep better at night?
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody should have the basics to know your
Uh-huh.
blood pressure, cholesterol,
Yeah.
and diabetes. Those are simple blood tests or a cuff for the blood pressure, and those should be done fairly regularly. You can test your blood pressure several times a year. I also recommend, if you have a family history, if you're of a certain age, that you get like a calcium test, a screening of your heart to see if you have calcium blockages and things like
Okay.
that. Those are the basic tests that tell you kind of your overall health. And then if you have more of a family history or you've had incidents before, they will add on different things, whether that be MRIs, ultrasounds, or whatever physicians think are necessary.
So just, my primary care physician is a cardiologist and
Mm-hmm.
he does everything. I'm talking like get on this treadmill. Let's do a stress test. Let's do a sonogram. And, before I would be like, oh, the insurance. I don't care anymore. I'm like, you
You
bill this
got it.
insurance
Mm-hmm.
every penny. And, people are like, oh, he's probably like doing it to milk the insurance. I do not care. That is why the insurance is here. And, every time I go for my annual or every 6 months, repeat every single test. So, sometimes we tend to feel guilty about, using our
Mm-mm.
insurance or like
No,
having tons of testing done. The
no.
insurance don't know, and that's what they're there for.
That is what they're there for. And guess what? You're using less of your insurance with the test than you are if you have an incident.
Thank you.
So you have to think about it like prevention is the best medicine, because once you've had an event or several events or whatever, then it is incredibly expensive. And even still, you are worth it.
You are.
You are worth good health. You are worth good well-being. So no one should feel bad about taking care of themselves.
I feel like it's something that's passed down. It's just like don't do too much, and just go into the doctor and just get your little checkup and go home. No, we're not doing that. It's 2026.
No, we're in charge of our health. We want to know what's wrong. We want to address that, and we want to practice prevention.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Prevention. Yeah, we gotta make sure we're eating the right things. We're getting the right exercise.
Hmm.
If we're getting meds, that we're taking our meds, because that's
Yes.
another thing that I feel like, especially with the men in our life, they tend to be a little stubborn. They
Hmm.
have high blood pressure.
Hmm.
They need cholesterol medication. They need heart medication, and they get them and they just put them in a shelf. Can we
Hmm.
talk about how important it is to follow through with the meds that we're given?
Yeah, it's a tough thing. Like my dad is also a stroke survivor, and when he came home, he wanted to take as few pills as possible. Like his goal, even above getting well, was like, I don't want to be on all this medication. And I'm like, okay, well, let's work our way down to
Yeah.
that. You know, start here so we
Hmm.
don't have another stroke. See what we can titrate down, what we can get less of, or a lower dosage or whatever, but stay on the medication to prevent a second incident. And when he started having side effects he didn't like, because there are some they don't like, I
Yeah.
said, go ask the doctor for another medication.
Yeah.
Try a different one. Like there, particularly for cardiovascular events or stroke events, by and large, there are a multitude of medications. So if one doesn't work for you, don't stop. Go ask for another one and keep at it until you find something that is right for you.
And that's important. I feel like sometimes men, and I don't want to pick on men, but I feel like men go to the doctors, they get these diagnoses, and then they're like, I'm fine, I'm okay. Like my close friend, he is large in size, but he'd be like, yeah, I'm the healthiest, fast person that you're going to meet. I'm like, no, 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 you got to get rid of this weight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Please understand that, yeah, you cute, yeah, you move fast, but something is cooking. Trust me.
Especially around the stomach area, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're a black man and you're obese. Like, no, something is
Mm-hmm.
going to happen. You feel healthy right now. You feel happy right now.
Weight is such a tender subject. I try
It
to
is.
tiptoe around it because, our self esteem is often tied to it. And, we have gone past the place where we now guilt people that are overweight and saying, you eat too much or you don't know how to control yourself. Thank goodness we now understand the disease of obesity. And so we can lead with empathy and compassion, but also say, here are the options you have. And there are many, many
Oh, that
options
they are.
to aid you in the process, because we get it. This is not easy for everyone, but if you work with a healthcare provider, and not even sometimes necessarily a doctor, but like a nurse practitioner or a dietitian or somebody that specializes in weight management, they can help you get on a plan to get to the optimal weight that's right for you.
Because I'm a worrier. I worry. I'm like, oh, I don't want nothing to happen to you. I don't want nothing to happen to you. And, I feel like that's something that's stuck with me after my stroke, that I'm always worried about the people around me. Like, I think it's like a trauma, I guess. It's like if I can't find somebody, or if my husband's not picking up the phone, I'm like, what is happening? Are you okay? Like, he is not allowed to shower with the door locked. I need to be able to bust through that door at
And
any
save
moment.
him.
Absolutely. Like, are you crazy? I'll be mad as hell. He's like, well, you can open it with a butter knife. I'm like, I don't want to
What?
go look for a butter knife, okay? I just want to bust through
Not
the door.
butter knife. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, we care about the people we love.
We do.
We want to make sure they're taken care of. And we have to learn. One of the things, honey, I've had to learn, because I have parents who are older now, is that I can be concerned and I can be helpful, but I cannot control. And can I tell you, that is the hardest lesson I have ever had to, because I really want to control. If I'm honest, most women want to control the situation. We want to control it. Like, no.
Why do you think I need access to the bathroom?
But really, everyone is in charge of their own life.
They are.
And so I try now to approach people respecting their personal autonomy, being very direct about, like, here's the issue. Here's the thing we got to manage together. How can we best solve this? And I find that people, when they participate in the decision making about it, they stick with it a little longer.
Especially adults,
Yeah.
And I understand that, our parents are getting older, and now the roles reverse. And now we start parenting our parents.
Girl, they hard. They like,
She don't listen to me, my mom.
yes, they're like,
I was like, you behaving real bad today, ain't
terrible
you?
twos going into horrible threes. And you're like, okay, people, when you go to the doctor, call me. I need to listen while you're there. This is what I mean about control. I need to be on speakerphone while you're at the doctor, so I can hear what the doctor's saying and ask my own questions.
Absolutely.
Because when you get home, you're not going to be able to tell me what the doctor said, and that's going to irritate me. So, like,
Katrina, stop. I tell my brother to record when he goes with my mom. I'm like, please just record everything the doctor says. And then he sends a voice note.
Exactly.
The recording. And I'm like, okay.
Because when you send your brother, they're not going to ask what you were going to ask. And
Absolutely
so you're like,
not.
just record it.
Send me the transcript.
Exactly. I know. This is what I mean about that compulsion. So then I have to dial myself down and be like, so here's what we're facing. How do you think we can handle it?
It's the problem solver in you.
Yes. And it is, I mean, these are your parents who have loved you to life and sacrificed for you, and you love them dearly. And whether it's your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your aunt, uncle, or whatever, you want the very best for them. The very, very best. And as we age, sometimes it is easier to let the doctor tell you what to do, and they just come from a generation where you didn't ask the doctor questions, and then we come along and we got 1,000 questions, and I have Googled it and I've ChatGPT'd it before I get in there, and I know what I'm gonna ask and everything. I know you know.
Katrina, if a doctor does not sound knowledgeable, I will walk out of that visit. I don't care if you're a doctor. Okay, how many degrees you have? Okay, let's wrap this up.
Yep. Or what's funny is they're like, do you study medicine?
No.
I studied ChatGPT before I came here. Who helped me?
I love you.
Hey, that's what I mean about we got to use all the tools we have.
Oh, that's me.
And it is okay. Any healthcare provider that is not allowing you to ask questions is not the right one for you.
Thank you. And, I respect the profession. I respect the white coat. But you know what? This is not feeling like it's serving me right now. And I'm going to walk out.
Yeah.
Have a blessed day. This is my health.
And guess what? There are so many good ones.
There are.
So many good ones that will encourage you to ask questions, encourage you to do your own research, tell you where to go do the research, give you everything to read. And so I don't think we have to settle for anything less than that.
There you go. There you go. You see, somebody backed me up because I've always been super bold about that. And, some people are like, yeah, let the doctors do their job. No. I know what I need.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the podcast and the book.
Hmm.
Be bold, be brilliant, be you.
Yeah.
When did you write the book?
I wrote the book after I came off a speaking tour in 2018 because I got asked the same questions over and over. And it was specifically to women leaders. And, the first chapter really talks about understanding where your space for greatness is in
Mm.
this season of your life. So many of us are still living or trying to live the life we envisioned in our 20s, and we feel unfulfilled and like we are a failure because that utopia we had imagined when we were 20 didn't pan out. And I'm like, but boo, you're 40. Like, you don't, when you step back from it, do you even want the same things? And so I try to help women walk through life when they're in a season of transition. Really, whether it's health or career, I meet people when they say, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do, but I can't do this shit no more. Like, I can't live like this no more. Then I'm like, yes, it is time for us to talk. Because then you're willing to make the hard choices.
Is that when you put on like your health and wellness, coach hat and you go in and you help me fix everything?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we fix everything,
Well,
but I try to help people. I try to shine a light so that people can do the work. Ask questions that get you to think about things from a different perspective. And for a while, I was just doing health and wellness. And then I started putting career things on top of
Hmm.
it because I would see women in the workplace
A
struggle
lot.
with advancement, struggle with how to communicate, not understanding. Yet people don't accept your ideas because of the way you're communicating them. Let's try this. And so it's really full of practical tools
Hmm.
about how to understand your space for greatness and excel while in it, while also taking care of yourself. So it's that beautiful blend that allows you to be fully yourself while also allowing your brilliance to shine through.
Now, if somebody wants to buy the book today,
Hmm.
where can they buy it?
Amazon, my website, KatrinaMcGhee.com. Um, yeah, but I also share a lot of information for free on Instagram
Hmm.
because I've gotten to the place on my journey where I just want to help the next person along. Um, and I feel so good when I can work with young people, especially that are in college or just graduated, to help them think about their life, upskill in places where they may be struggling, and then open doors for them. Because um, I really want to see people thrive.
You're such a giver. I love this. I love, love, love. And you're in the perfect, company.
Hmm.
Y-
Yeah, it's when you work for an organization like American Heart Association, where their mission is to be a relentless force for a world of longer, healthier lives. That says a lot. Relentless. I won't quit. I am a force. I'm the wind beneath your wings. I'm propelling things forward, and that the goal is the longer, healthier lives. In my personal time, I add on the happiness too, because I believe you should do what you love or do something different. That's why I'm so excited to be here with you today, seeing you do your thing, because I like to see people who are like in their element shine. That is when you are making the biggest impact.
It is. And, with Gracias Come Again, we've made such an amazing impact. And so many people feel seen,
Hmm.
respected. And, even when someone hears a guest is coming, they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy they're going to be there. They deserve this. They deserve this. And I'm like, it started as a podcast, and now people see it as a place where you get to really showcase, your true self, your greatness, your
Hmm.
achievements. And maybe if you feel like the world is not celebrating you, when you sit here, you will be celebrated.
I love that. I mean, most of us, all we really want is to be seen, heard, loved, and respected. And I think if people can find places in life where they get that, with a tribe of people that they can run with, they enjoy their lives so much more. They feel fulfilled. Like they are very mission driven, and that's really my hope for everyone, that you find that space, that you're not looking at life like a drudgery, but you have found your place to thrive and excel.
Oh my God, Katrina, stop. I love this. I love, love, love this for us. Now, someone is listening and they want to get involved, because people, when I post, anything American Heart Association related, like, how can I get involved? How can I be part of this? How can I help? How can someone take the first step towards, helping us on this mission?
Okay, I'm going to give you two things.
Please.
First, Heart Month's theme is you are the first responder until help arrives. It's all about making sure that a person in every household in America has someone trained in CPR. I am super passionate about this, super, super passionate, because 350,000 people each year experience cardiac arrest, and 90% of them don't make it. And the thing we can all do is learn CPR to help people in our home and community. And that makes an ordinary person have extraordinary powers.
Hero.
And so, yeah, a hero indeed. They can go to heart.org/nation and just watch a 90-second video to learn hands-only CPR. You don't have to be certified to save a life. You don't have to take the class to save a life, but you can jump in an emergency, and that's what all of us need. And here's the real deal. African Americans, Latinas, in our community, you get bystander CPR far less. And so it requires us to lean in and for more of us to get trained so we can protect the people we love, because most of the time you're going to be doing CPR on somebody in your house, somebody you love, and nobody wants to come to that space and not know what to do.
That's a great place to get started, you know? It's like, think about it. Someone's having a medical emergency. What are you going to do? Turn on YouTube? No. Come on. Get trained today.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the website and, get your CPR training. You don't have to go out. You don't have to spend, weeks being trained and going to a class, because I know how difficult it is, especially, if you have kids, if you go to school, if you go to work. But if, the American Heart Association has this tool that, can make you feel more confident, because, feeling like you can help someone in your own home gives you a different level of confidence.
Absolutely. And the thing of it is, I'm glad you mentioned kids, because young children and infants, you do have to do a different type of CPR. You have to give breaths. And so I always tell new moms, new Gigi's, new abuelas, if you have an infant that you love, please go learn CPR. Like, physically take a class so you can practice on an infant, because the process for it is different. And I'm a new Gigi now.
You are?
Yes.
Okay.
I have one grandson, and I have another one on the way. I know I talk about this all the time, but that is
so your daughter is Gigi and you're Gigi? How does?
No. I'm a Gigi.
You're Gigi, okay.
And I have an amazing son and daughter-in-law.
Okay, so your son had. Okay, got it.
Yes. He had a son. He's 3.5. And then I have another one on the way.
Oh, my God. Congratulations.
Thank you. But, when I found out she was
Gigi.
pregnant. Girl,
Yes.
fly. You have to hold it together.
Okay.
Yes. Aging is not what it used to be.
Never. Are you crazy?
No. I think healthy is the new sexy, and we got to hold it together for as long as possible so that we can enjoy our lives.
Let me tell you, I saw something that you said, being beautiful at 25, that's normal. Being beautiful at 55, that's not normal.
Come on now.
Better clock it.
Talk about it.
I love you so much, Katrina. I really want to thank you, for taking this time to sit down with me, talk heart health, fast. That's super important. I'm going to continue to share, and work with you and work with the American Heart Association in any which way that I can to bring awareness, Latinos, Black, brown, the whole world. I don't care who it is. I'm here to help spread the word. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time and coming up here to sit with me today.
It was my pleasure. And let me just say, you are such a bright light. And we are so grateful to have you as part of the American Heart family, and for you courageously sharing your story and encouraging others to talk about it openly, understand the risk factors, and be a part of the solution. We talk so much about all these dire statistics, but those are human beings, and we can make a difference, and you are doing so in a big, big way. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, and I want to say gracias. Come again.
I absolutely will.